Morocco's moderate Islamist party has won a second term following Friday's parliamentary elections. The ruling Justice and Development Party won 125 seats in the 395-member parliament. But under the country's system, no single party can win an outright majority, and even the winner must form a coalition. Its main rival, the Authenticity and Modernity Party, won 102 seats. Well, for more, let's speak to Imad Mesdoua. He's a political analyst on African matters and joins us now from London. Imad, good to speak to you here on TRT World. So what are you drawing from these election results so far in Morocco?
Well, I think the main things to look out for now are coalition building. As you rightly mentioned in your introduction, no party can govern because no party has an outright majority. And so for the ruling PJD party, it will be a matter of reaching out to smaller parties and its two largest competitors, the PAM party and the Istiqlal party, to see how it can reconfigure a new coalition in order for it to govern. It's also worth looking out for in the next few days and the next few weeks who the King of Morocco is going to appoint as Prime Minister. Under the 2011 Constitution, he must appoint a Prime Minister from the winning party of these elections. Most observers believe that Prime Minister Ben Kiran will be reappointed, but we should look out for that. But I think the main thing to look out for is we're actually witnessing a kind of bipolar political system starting to emerge in Morocco. This direct competition between the Islamists, the PJD, and the PAM party, which is seen as a liberal kind of modernist party. This competition between these two parties is starting to emerge as a key trend from these elections.
Well, you mentioned the king there. I mean, obviously his role is very key in exactly what happens next in Morocco. And how do you see that as being part of the coalition building that's going to have to take place in the coming weeks?
Well, under this reformed parliamentary system that Morocco now has, the king maintains very important executive powers. In fact, he has the most important executive powers. But that executive power manifests itself in a formal and informal way. And I think most people will be looking out for the informal way in which the palace is likely to orient different political parties and the negotiations that are going to take place in order to form a coalition. So for many of the smaller parties that are likely to join a potential coalition, observers will be looking for how they are being influenced by the palace, whether they are being influenced by the palace, and whether or not the PJD on its own is able to actually convince some political parties to join it based on a joint kind of economic and societal agenda.
And Imad, finally then, Morocco thankfully has not been had to suffer terror attacks recently as many of its neighbouring countries have. What do you put that down to? What is its particular about Morocco and the democracy that's going on there that means it's been resistant to the threat of terror attacks that some of its neighbours have had to face?
I think Moroccan officials have been very keen since the Arab Spring and since the reforms of 2011 to actually portray the image of a kingdom that is different from the region, more stable, more politically open. But I think some of the issues that other countries in the region are facing are very much present in Morocco, and those revolve around socioeconomic issues, grievances amongst young people, and of course, political and civic liberties. So those issues exist in Morocco, despite the kind of official narrative that is often presented. I think one thing also to mention is, and proof of this, that not all is perfect, is that Morocco, like other Arab Spring countries, Tunisia, has actually been affected by jihadi groups. Terror cells are being broken up every day by the security forces. And it's also worth mentioning that Morocco has between 1,000 to 2,000, depending on the estimates, Moroccans fighting with the Islamic State, both in Libya and Syria and Iraq. So not all is perfect, despite the narrative that is presented, but there are certainly positive tendencies that should be commended around political and democratic reforms that have been engaged since 2011.
Okay, Imad Mesdoua there from Africa Matters. We thank you.